Hi everybody, how are we doing? And welcome back to the Ricky2ra Podcast, episode 19. Wow, we are one away from episode 20, and I feel like that's a pretty big milestone. 20, well, we've done 19. This is the 19th week that I've been doing this podcast, talking about different topics from my perspective as a magician, some experience that I've been through as a performer, doing events, things like that. If you haven't felt like the vibe has slowly changed. The type of format is slowly changing. I'm talking about a few topics now rather than one specific topic. This is something that I've enjoyed doing, and like I said before, it happened by accident. It was one time where it was just unplanned, and I kind of talked about different topics, about 4 topics, and it actually went down really well with myself. When I was looking back at it, I really enjoyed it rather than talking about one specific topic. But if there is like a big story that I do want to tell, I will go back to that format. But anyway, how are you guys doing? How is August treating all of you? It's been very wet here the past couple of days compared to my last podcast episode where I said we had a few days of sun. So yeah, I hope you guys are all well. I hope you guys are all staying safe. YouTube, thank you for tuning in, for watching every week. For all the Anchor listeners, for all the Apple Podcast listeners, for all the Spotify listeners, wherever you are listening, whatever you're doing. I don't know if people are listening to this in the car, in the kitchen whilst you're cooking, or in your bedroom whilst you're doing something else. But I really appreciate you all for listening. I am getting a few plays here and there on the podcast. So I'd like just to get that out of the way first and just say I really do appreciate you guys. I do look at the data from time to time just to see how the podcast is doing. Obviously, this is just my 19th episode, so nothing big is happening, but that's not the main reason why I did this podcast. The main reason is because it is something I've been holding in for a long time. A lot of topics that I always wanted to talk about, and now I've had the opportunity to do it. I'm going to continue with it forever, I think. I think so. I'm enjoying it, so I don't see any reason to stop, really. So yeah, I thought I'd just put that out there. But anyway, let's get into what I'm going to talk about today. So yes, it's 4 topics again. This is going to be shorter than the last podcast episode, I hope, because every time I've said that, it's kind of gone over the previous episode time limit. So last week I made the mistake of, well, it wasn't really a mistake, but it kind of dragged the podcast episode. So I talked about 2 large topics, and I really wanted it to last about 5 minutes each. But it kind of like lasted 10 minutes to each topic that I placed in between other topics. So this time I'm talking about a couple of, well, one big topic that's going to last 5 minutes, and then the rest are just going to revolve around it. And that big topic is small gigs are the best. And I want to go and tell a story into that, but before I do, I'm going to talk about Ed Sheeran. Yes, I'm sure all of you guys will know who Ed Sheeran is. So that's what we're going to talk about first. Then we're going to get into the small gigs are the best. And then a couple of things I'm going to talk after that is Project Power. Yes, I've watched that movie on Netflix. If you do not know what the hell I am talking about, I will let you guys know when we head to that topic. And last but not least, this was kind of a last minute one. I was kind of thinking what the fourth one was going to be, but yeah, it's called My Blocked Video, and we'll talk about that last because that is a short story. So, let's get into it. Ed Sheeran. So, Ed Sheeran has been a big inspiration for me ever since, I don't even know, 2011. I guess I seen A-Team on YouTube. I seen that video and I've never heard like somebody with like a guitar and just singing like that. I thought it was somebody else at first singing the song because I'd never seen Ed Sheeran in his actual videos. And I remember one time when I was behind the counter in the shop, we had the TV on, and it was on like a music channel. I think it was like 4Music. Is that still around? And I seen You Need Me, the video for that, and he wasn't even in that video as well. But that was kind of like the song that was like, oh, I'm feeling that song. And this was before like the Magic days. I think, I know I said I started in 2011, but I think this was like early 2011 before I'd even started Magic. So yeah, anyway, I've seen You Need Me on TV. I've seen A-Team on YouTube. So I kind of did a bit of research, and I found his album, his first one, and yeah, I was listening to that. But anyway, that was just an origin of how I found him. But I seen him last year. It was in Leeds at Roundhay Park, okay? Now, I know the majority of my listeners are from the UK, especially from Leeds. So if you guys have been to Roundhay Park to see Ed Sheeran, so did I. I went on the first day actually. He was doing 2 days there. Because it was a large capacity of people there, and it was well organised. So I went on the first day. So I'm going to tell you the differences between the 2 days. The first day, which I went, it was raining like crazy, and it was muddy, and people were sliding everywhere. And on the second day, when I seen photos online, it was nice, bright and sunny. The mud had dried. Everybody was loving life. I kind of liked the day that I went, the sunny day, just because the rainy day, just because it was. I felt like the atmosphere was so much better. People were just sliding around, messing about, and once Ed Sheeran came out, it was awesome, really. And it was one of them where it was like it got dark pretty quickly, but like once he had the lights on for the the stage that he was on. And everything going around, it was amazing. And just a quick one in between that, because I kind of failed to mention this before I headed into the Roundhay Park topic. I bought a book from Ed Sheeran, the company, whatever, who made the book, and it's called, I've got it on my shelf, it's called Ed Sheeran, A Visual Journey. And that's when he released his Divide album. Was it his Divide album? No, it was his Times album. I'm kind of getting it mixed up now. The one with like the green. I'm sure it was Divide. Or Times even. I keep getting them mixed up. But anyway, you guys will know. But it's the one with the green, because the book's bright green. And it kind of tells this story in a book format. Which I found really interesting, and I was inspired by as well, because he used to just sleep in people's couches outside and stuff like that. But anyway, going back to the Roundhay Park topic, It was just awesome to see him live in person because I've never seen him live. It was raining. I think I wore like 2 raincoats because it was that wet. My first one got soaked, but I was pretty warm and dry underneath. Looking back on it, it's really weird now. I don't know if you guys have done this, or maybe you have. Have you ever looked back in your phone and like from like concerts you've been to, from events you've been to, and you're just looking back and you're thinking, oh my god, there's so many people there. Nobody's even like social distancing. Have you guys ever done that? Because I definitely have, and when I think about like that Round A Park thing, I was thinking, oh my god, there was so many people next to each other. Like that would never happen now. But I seen a photo online recently about a concert, and there's like a 6-foot gap between people, and they've got their own area where they're seated, and the stage is at the front. So I don't know if that's the future now until all this stuff is sorted. But for Round A Park, for Ed Sheeran, I think Sing is one of my favourite songs. And he really does like play around with the crowd, like singing like one part and this part. That's what I really like about it. And another one of my favourite songs was Dope as well. I really like that song. I haven't used any of Ed's songs in my videos actually. I think I was thinking about using one of them. I think it was either Sing or Dope. I think it was Sing. I was going to use the instrumental for something like a long time ago, but it never happened. I didn't really process any ideas for it. But I do remember the song, the instrumental for it. But I never did anything with it. But yeah, that's just what I wanted to talk about, because I've talked about people in the past like Dynamo, Troy, briefly about David Blaine. I've talked about Kevin Hart as well, how he's inspired me, but I've never really talked about any musical person that I believe. My memory's kind of bad, so some like for remembering certain stuff. So if I have talked about a musical inspiration, let me know. I can't really remember, but Ed Sheeran is another one on that list of musical on people that inspire me and motivate me as well, just because of his story and where he was to where he is now. And I think I've read that book twice actually, 2 or 3 times at least. A Visual Journey. It's not like a big. It's like a hardback book, but it's like that big, so you'll go through it in no time. But yeah. Gigs really, he started from Ed Sheeran doing small gigs, and then he slowly built himself up to like large ones, and he's doing stadium tours and stuff. And I feel like that's a good segue for small gigs, because small gigs are the best. And when I say that, in my experience, don't get me wrong, large gigs that I get booked for are amazing, but for me personally, as a performer, a magician, I want to get to know the group of people. I want to, get a bit more so that, like, personal, so they can get a good experience altogether. And I feel like with large gigs you can't really get as much as that up close personal experience as you can with small gigs, just for the fact that for large events you have to go around a lot of people in a certain time, whereas with small gigs you have a lot of time to get around to all the people. And this particular gig, it kind of, I know I said it's a good segue from Ed Sheeran to this, but another great segue for this is that it was the day after Ed Sheeran that I had this gig, and it was a small gig. It was at a local golf club, and it was the day after Ed Sheeran, and I know I have this client, he's booked me many times, and it was for this particular golfing event, and it was probably the best small gig that I've had in a while. All the people there were kind of older than me, meaning as in like it was an award show for golf. I'm trying to get this onto the right terms, so that's why I'm thinking about this quite a lot. It was for people that are playing golf, but there was nobody there that were my age. Kind of like I'm comparing it to like large events where you get kind of like a good mix of people that are young to kind of like the older type of people. This type of event was kind of like for the older type of people, like middle aged and older type. As well, there were a couple of people that were younger than me there, but they were there with the parents. But anyway, matter of the fact is that I got to know nearly every person in that room when I was booked there to perform up close magic. I had a really great time. I got, it was just, to put it in words, everybody had like an up close experience with the magic. Like nobody really like was coming up saying, "Oh, what's going on here?" Like everybody was seated, but it was the room was a rectangle, but it wasn't like where you were squeezed in. It was quite spacious, but it was all in like one place. So the bar was in one place, the stage was in one place, the chairs were right in front of the stage. So it was kind of nice, and it worked out really well for me to go around to everybody to do magic. So yeah, I got to know nearly every person in that room. The reactions were really good, as well from people. I've done a couple of gigs at that same venue before, at that golf club. So I'm sure it was this particular gig. I did magic to a lady near the bar, and she was really shocked. She didn't say anything. She was just trying to process what happened. I did like a card magic trick on her, and she was just holding a card there, and she was staring at it, and she was staring at me, and she said, "I'm gonna frame this." And sometimes I don't take things too seriously. I was just like, okay. I was just like, after I'd done my magic trick, I was just like, okay, that's awesome. Like you should. I didn't take it too seriously, but I think she was really serious, because she was looking at me, and then she was staring at the card, and then she had like a bag. She had like a little, what do you call them girls? Like a handbag kind of thing. She put a card in there, and I was like, oh, she for real? Like, I don't know if that ever happened, but she definitely did it. Because normally some people just like, when they sign the card with their name on, I always give it to them as a souvenir. 60% of the time they'll just leave it on the table and go home. But the other 40% people will actually keep it, put it in the wallet, the purse, the handbag, whatever. So yeah, that was kind of cool. I don't know if she ever did frame it, but anyway, she'd said she would, but I don't know if that ever happened. But that was kind of like a cool response to the magic that happened there. And probably one of the best things that have ever happened to me at a gig happened, and it kind of shows, and it kind of made me a bit emotional after as well. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna go like, oh, Ricky, why are you being emotional, this and that. No, it's not like that, okay? Because I'd never got this ever at a gig, just because some gigs that I do, I'm booked there, and then once I'm done, I kind of go to the client, I'm done, are you happy with what I've done? And they'll be like, yeah, and then that's it, we're done. But this particular gig, once I'd done, I'd gone to the client, yeah, everything's sorted for the, like, I've been around to everybody, my time limit, well, I didn't say anything about my time limit, but I'm saying to you guys that, like, my time was up there, really. And I'd gone around to everybody, and everybody was really happy with it. And the client said, oh, that's really great, I hope you've had a great time as well. And I was like, yeah, I've had an amazing time. And then I was kind of like saying bye to a few people that I got along with a little bit more there. And basically as I was walking out, so like the stage is here and the door's here. So I was over here just walking to the door. And when I was walking to the door, I just heard like, and people, like everybody was clapping. Like, I swear, the only, like, I don't mean to be like really cocky, but the only way I could compare it is like, do you know when Sir Alex Ferguson won the Premier League and he got the Guard of Honour, like with the players. No, sorry, I kind of stuffed that out. Remember when Sir Alex Ferguson retired, and it was like his last game at Old Trafford, and he was walking through and everybody on both teams were like clapping whoever Manchester United were against. It was kind of like that. I know, Ricky, why are you bigging yourself up to Sir Alex? You not even like him. I know, but that's the only way like I can compare it looking back to it. But in the moment, I found it so weird that people were clapping at me, and I looked and I kind of just like waved at everybody and I said, I hope you've had a good time. And they were like, yeah, we have. Everybody, like every single person in that room clapped at me. And then when I left, I kind of like sat in my car and I was like, wow. I was like, they must have really enjoyed the magic. Because I always like want feedback to what people think of me, and that kind of just showed me really in like 2 seconds what people thought. So yeah, it was. That's why I always feel like small gigs are the best. Really, as well, and I've done loads of small gigs as well, but that night it was awesome because I kind of never would have thought for that particular event, like a golfing event, that would really happen. So yeah, that was it was a great experience really, and that actually happened last year, last August time or something, September time. No, it was last August time because I've just said that Ed Sheeran was in August as well last year. So yeah, I kind of look back on the photo from that gig the other day. That's why I kind of wanted to get this story out there, because I took a photo. I always take a photo at my events, a photo or a video. I don't think I made a video at that event, but I kind of took a photo from the back of the room, and took a photo of like everybody there, just doing their normal stuff. And I look back at it, and because it was a small rectangular room, but obviously like the seats, nobody was squished, but it was kind of like them type of rooms where, you know, when you look at it, you're thinking, oh my god, is that like loads of people in like in a small space? If you know what I mean. I'm not really explaining it correctly, but what I'm trying to say, there was a lot of people there. It kind of looked like there was a lot of people there. There was only like 80 to 90. But when I look back on the photo, it kind of looks like, maybe it was like the angle that I was doing it, it kind of looked like everybody was nearly close to each other. But I don't know if that's just the world that we're living in now, because when I'm looking back on it, I'm thinking, oh my god, why is there so many people just sat next to each other? I think that's what I'm trying to say. There was so many people trying to sit next to each other, like sat next to each other. They were like that close to each other. So what I'm trying to say is that it kind of looks weird now looking back on it. That kind of took a lot to come out of my mouth, that, to explain that. But yeah, that's why I feel like small gigs are the best, really. So anyway, let's move on from that topic. We're about 22 minutes in now. So yeah, we're about 22, 23 minutes in. This is only going to take about another 5 to 6 minutes, really, until we wrap up. So if you guys have made it this far, I appreciate you guys. Tap yourselves on the back. Got a couple more topics to lean into, but it won't take that long. So Project Power, that's a movie that I recently watched on Netflix, starring Jamie Foxx. If you know a YouTuber called Casey Neistat, he was in it briefly as well. He had a cool cameo role in there. But yeah, Project Power, I'm not really good at explaining, as you could probably tell from my own story. But yeah, if I just type in on Google Project Power, because I don't really want to well, basically people take a pill, you end up being like getting superpowers for 5 minutes, and then it kind of like wears off, really. That's basically how I'm going to explain it. But if you want to know a bit more in depth, just type in Project Power and then you can see the description for the movie. But yeah, it's got Jamie Foxx in it. I liked it. I liked all the characters in it. I've seen a few characters from a few different movies in there as well. It had some character development in there, but overall I felt like it was a good movie. It could have improved on a few other things, like a bit more other character developments here and there, but looking back on it, it was about an hour and 45 movie, so to try and cram that all into an hour and 45 movie is kind of hard, because if you're talking about like movies that really like have a good character development and kind of like expand what's going on in the film, you're kind of talking about a 2 hour movie, really, 2.5 hour maybe. I'm not a film review guy, so I don't really know. That's basically what I'm just talking about. But overall, yeah, I felt like it was a good movie. It was entertaining. I kind of wished that they explained some more stuff in detail about certain things in the movie, like where the pill, how it was properly being created, and the source of that. Why were they using that for the source? And basically just watch the movie. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm not good at reviewing movies, but what I'm trying to say is it's a good movie and you should watch it on Netflix. Just get yourself a 30-day free account and then just cancel it after, just to watch the movie as well, because I really enjoyed it. Okay, for the last topic, this is only going to take a couple of minutes, and it is basically a blocked video of mine. Basically, I did a £5 munch yesterday, promo, right, a £5 munch promo, and I used an audio song in there for the audio, and it got blocked on Instagram. That's where I uploaded my promo. And basically this was like at 9 o'clock at night, because I had everything prepared, I had everything edited, and basically when I went to upload, it uploaded, and then 1 minute after I got a email saying your video is blocked worldwide. So I basically deleted it, and I had to re-edit the video and get a new sound clip for the song, for the audio, and then I put it on, like, it took me about 35 minutes to redo, and then put it back on, and now it's on my Instagram. Something that I filmed last week was a £5 munch video. I'm nearly finished editing that. I've just got a few things to do to that video to touch up on, and it will be releasing this Friday. But it kind of like, I hate when stuff gets blocked, just because I haven't really hacked that game of getting audio and putting it on to my videos and stuff. I've got to be very careful about that as well. So if you guys know any artists or any cool websites that I can get like free music off, like background music or like hip hop beat musics and stuff, like holler at me. Let me know in the comments below YouTube, or anyone really, just let me know, because I haven't really hacked that yet. I thought I did, but that got blocked. And I don't mean like illegally, I mean like in a good way that I can like promote maybe the artist or something like that. I don't know, because I don't really know how it works yet, because I'm still early in that game. But anyway, that's basically the story for that blocked video, but it's back up and running. I just hate getting videos blocked back and forth. It kind of happened early on in YouTube. When I first got my YouTube channel, I uploaded like a Drake song. Very stupid of me to upload a Drake song, but it got copyrighted straight away, and I got a strike on my YouTube channel, but that was like 4 or 5 years ago now. But yeah, we have made it to the end of the podcast. So yeah, we're keeping this under 30 minutes, so I hope you guys have enjoyed today's episode. Please like, share and review. If you're on Apple Podcasts, leave a review. That would be great. I'll see you guys in the 20th podcast episode. I have no idea what I'm going to do, but we'll see what happens. So I hope you have a great day or night, wherever you are.